Just, you know what? We even debated last night. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if me and you were the only ones that showed up in costume this time?
You know, we would have.
We were the only ones not dressed up for Halloween. And so we were like, what if we just dress up for Tori and we don't tell anybody?
We should have done that. We all should have done that. God damn it. Can we give us 5 minutes? I'll be right back. It'll be fine.
Same. I'll come dressed up too. I have a few wigs lying around. A few curly wigs lying around somewhere.
Okay, low-key, I got to ask about this. Did Michelle ever ask you like late at night, hey, Tori, can you put on the wig for me?
Oh my God. I would catch her looking at me sometimes.
Give that side eye.
I knew what she was thinking.
Oh my God.
All right. Before we start jumping in, Tori, we actually have grown our team again. So these are our two newest members, Alexis right there, and then Katie. I think she's at the top window. I don't know how it displays for everybody else, but
well, it's great to meet you guys. And yeah, congrats on growing. I feel like you guys are always doing something. The screens are always getting bigger. There's more beautiful things on the walls. Like things are happening over there. I'm watching the growth and it's awesome.
It's come a long way from us sharing a microphone at our kitchen table. Yeah, it has come a long way. It's funny though. The only reason Katie found us was because of your interview though.
For real.
Really?
Yeah, that's why she wanted to be here today. So
I'm trying to not freak you out by fangirling too hard, so I've just been silent and trying not to be too weird. So
I came on a challenge podcast, like knowing I was coming to talk to people who love the show. So don't at all feel like you can't fan out. I'd rather you be a fan than me sitting on here with someone who absolutely despises me.
Oh my God.
Well, I love you so much, and I'm trying not to cry because I'm a baby. Aww. But you've helped me a lot on my own healing journey over the last few years. So I found you because I was going down the rabbit hole right after you did your ayahuasca trip. And I was like on the internet, like I need to consume everything that she's telling everybody. And so I was just searching for like interviews you'd done. Wow. And I found these guys. And then, dude, the universe works in fucking mysterious ways because Karina and I are literally birthday twins.
No.
And her and I just hit it off like right off the bat. And now these people are my people. Like, so it's all because
I'm going to cry too.
I was trying to like cop chill all day long. And I'm like thinking, what do I say to her? Because I don't want to freak her out. But I'm going to cry. So I got to get my shit together. Oh my God, what's happening? So just thank you for all that you do and the light that you are. And
dude, I love you guys back. Literally, thank you for that. Like truly, truly thank you. It means a lot to me. And I was so excited for this interview. I thought it was yesterday. I dined on here at 2:00 yesterday, sitting here like, where's everybody?
Where are these assholes?
Turns out it's today. So I was highly anticipating this as well.
Yay.
Just to kind of speak to what Katie's saying, like we were a household that never listened to Taylor Swift, and that's now all we listen to in this house, apparently.
You're welcome.
Taylor Swift is a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Is a vibe. She is a vibe. She is like, I get it if people don't want to like her, but like if you don't even know you're listening to her and she's on in the background, you're going to have that one song where you're like, oh shit, this is a good song. And then you're like, oh, that's
literally
Taylor Swift. Like that's the kind of artist she is.
That's how I've gotten so many people into her is I'm a hairstylist, so I have a playlist and I have my favorites sprinkled in there and people will be like, ooh, what is this? I'm like, normally it's the haters and I just kind of look at them like, you know who this is.
Exactly.
I don't have to tell you, you know.
I'm going to regret saying this in front of Katie now, but last night Karina was making dinner and she was listening to music and she's like, anything you want to listen to? I was like, put on Florida.
Honestly, that song's a banger. That song's a banger.
So good.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
And like I said it, I was like, oh fuck.
Who are you?
Florida.
Yes.
It's one hell of a drug.
I don't know if I told you about it, Katie, but I think one of my favorite Rick and Taylor moments was I was cooking dinner, listening to Taylor, and Maroon was on. And then it ended, and he goes, that was a really beautiful song. I was like, oh, I got him with Maroon.
I need all the Rick reactions for Taylor.
Yeah.
We're going to start a whole segment, guys.
Yes.
And then as soon as she says something, I'm like, I have to go listen to like 8 hours of Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I'll just
Fill it out of my brain.
I kind of just level this out here. So
She puts narcotics in all of her songs, so you'll never forget.
there we go. All right. I'm going to try to do this intro
Okay.
without fucking
I
it
forgot
up.
we have to do that.
Yeah, it's part of it, you know.
Obligatory.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know who the fuck we are. You know who Tori is. Come on. I think I'm ready. Hey, everyone.
I'm sorry.
It never
I'll be
fails.
good. I'll be good.
Never fails. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Challenge Panda podcast. We've got a very special episode of Challengers Unplugged, and this is with our first 3-time guest, and it could be none other than Tori motherfucking Deal.
It's an honor to be back here.
This is our first three-peat, huh?
First
Wow.
repeat.
That's awesome.
Oh, magic.
Yeah.
Wow, it has been 3 times.
Yeah, and you're the
it
first
has.
person we've had back 3 times now. Devin will be our third repeat. He's next week.
Nice. Oh, I love that.
He's going to be I'm so excited.
He's the reason I found you guys because he said, yes, he was your first interview, right? Your first
Yes.
Yep.
challenger interview. And then he was like, you have to go do a podcast with the Challenge Fandom podcast. And I was like, okay, it's kind of like once like your friend says do it, you kind of are like, oh yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. And I just like was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, how amazing is it that like, he's the reason why it all billowed into like years of
Yeah.
communicating, DMing, like just like years of it. And you guys have had so many challengers on the podcast.
Yeah.
CT, you've had CT, right?
We
Yeah, we got
Like,
CT,
that's
yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who else talks to that guy? Like CT is like a grizzly bear that hibernates. Like, you don't get CT.
Okay, we haven't told anyone this, but I'll tell you how we actually did it.
3 days later.
It was crazy.
It's serendipitous that you're talking about that while wearing
I know.
this sweater.
Well, this was Tori's though. This one isn't CT's. That was
Okay,
Tori's.
yeah.
But he crowned me. He crowned me.
He did.
The Tori train. So
Yeah. It's literally, we keep it as one of our sounds on our little board here. But yeah, no, like Devin's amazing. Honestly, he was our very first, like he was episode 1 for us. And then he came back and he did episode 100 for us. And now he's coming back to do episode 200 for us.
wow.
And so just like every 100 episodes, and he's just so awesome. Every time we ask him, he's like, yeah, of course, I would love to come back. And,
yeah.
he's so cool.
Such a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. He really is.
You guys make a great BFF duo.
Oh my God, it's my guy. I mean, so much so that I'm literally turning into him in front of your eyes. I am morphing into him.
It's an amalgamation of Daves.
So many days.
Okay, I've got to ask before we deep dive into the challenge.
Yes.
How's the duck?
Dude, it's a tragic story, actually.
Oh no.
It's tragic. Like, I have had the duck. Obviously, I brought it with me to Miami when I moved there. I moved back to Jersey. So, like, of course, like, I put it on my front lawn as, like, the staple of my house. Like, here is my duck that I got from Dave at a fucking garage sale in New York. And I came home one day and its beak is completely smashed off. So now it has no beak. So I texted a picture to Dave and I'm like, I told him it was absolutely traumatic. And he was like, well, now I know what I have to get you as a present. So I'm just patiently waiting for another duck to come in the mail.
He's gonna get you like a massive one.
My grandma had a goose that she dressed up.
It
I
is a
have
goose.
a goose.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I don't think they're the same. Who knows? Maybe they might be the same. I'll have to go to my mom's. It's at her house, but if I can steal it away, I'll send it to you.
All I need is its beak.
Just a beak. I'll just knock her beak off.
Little hot glue gun, and we're in business.
Oh my gosh.
So I did want to ask something, and obviously this is not directly related to you, but Dave being your ride or die, and then seeing him and Michelle's relationship start this season. How was that watching as like a friend from the sidelines?
Dude, I was elated, truly. And it's because I just remember the moment when earlier in the season when he was telling me okay, this is real for me. To see him have that moment, to have that conversation with him, and for him to, number one, trust me with that kind of information. And him and I are obviously very, very, very close, but still it's he hadn't opened up himself like that in so long. I saw, I was on the sidelines of him after the breakup and kind of living through the motions of life. And he got out of that phase and he was ready to then, he decided on Michelle. He was yes, okay, this, it's her, and that for me was just, it melted my heart. And she is amazing. She is such an amazing, I have nothing but great things to say about her. I love being around Michelle. Anybody who doesn't like Michelle hasn't hung out with Michelle. Her energy is just so funny and she's so unique in herself, but I don't know, I have nothing but positive things to say. So to see the two of them really just go for it. It's just, how can you not root for your bestie to fall in love?
Yeah.
Just love.
I love it.
We were watching the first episode, and I think it was the one where Dave did the tuck in between the legs. They kind of panned over to Michelle, and Michelle had this look, and I looked at Karina, and Karina looked at me. She's like, "Oh, she likes him."
That was the moment she knew.
She's like, that one's mine.
And of course, we already know what's going on from social media at this point. But it was interesting seeing that. Oh, okay, there was something there that we never saw before.
Yeah,
you're gonna see a little. Well, when does this podcast air?
It's gonna come out after the reunion.
After the reunion?
Yes. Yeah.
So in the reunion, when Dave, they do that flash cut to Dave being because I don't know if you remember, but on the 39 reunion, he came on there and he was I'm banging next season, publicly announced he was banging. Well, they do a flash cut to Michelle and she does this shoulder swipe and then they re-aired that. So it's you really get to see it again, kind of building up to this place of the hints were subtly being dropped.
So many Easter eggs.
So many. Oh. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That makes a lot of sense because I know that there was a rumor going on that they may have I don't know about hooked up but they were very flirty and into each other before 40 even started filming. Mm-hmm. And I was did they ever play? I've never really noticed that, but that makes sense now. It's just those little things.
And look, I mean, no relationship is something right? Yeah. Where it's exact puzzle pieces right away. But when I first heard about it, I was Devin and Michelle, that doesn't, something's, and then I saw it and I was no, this makes total sense. Yeah. This is absolutely right. They fit like jigsaw puzzle pieces. Yep.
They really do. I cannot express it enough. Their dates in the house were literally sitting on their bed doing crosswords together. And what usually happens is if we get a crossword, everybody wants in because we want something to distract us. But they would literally set boundaries. No, we're just crosswording together. This is
you can't sit with us.
And it was so cute. It was so special and cute. And it was those little moments, those problem solving moments. Both of those, they're both really critical thinkers. They enjoy challenging themselves. And brain games and stuff like that. So dude, they're not perfect. No one's perfect, but I think they're as close as they're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And then the whole crossword thing that like he left behind for her to like tell her he loved. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, Devin's a softie. We've never seen this side. This is so sweet. I love it.
Oh, look, Tori's face said everything. Softy.
Softy. Like softy through and through. Like truly.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
He's such a thoughtful guy. Like the reason why him and I became so close is because like he is one of the people after the show's over. He'll call me and just like check in on me and see how I'm doing. Like truly cares about his friends. He cares about his people. People don't do that in the challenge, you know? People hit you up right before you go on a season. They're like, hey, are you going? You know, like, you know, maybe we'll break, whatever. Like, and that's a normal thing to do. No shade with that either. But like, you could just see there was a difference. There's a different output he has. He puts a lot more energy in his friendships and his relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's funny because especially like talking to someone like Josh, right? Especially right after Double Agents and then talking to him the following year with Spies, Lies, and Allies and seeing how their relationship grew. You know what I mean? It's especially when it started off from such a bad spot too.
So funny.
It's still literally like one of my favorite moments in challenge history.
It is.
Like, what's 9 times 8, Josh?
Dude, it's just so schoolyard like bullshit. It's like nonsense. But exactly, you don't become friends with somebody after that kind of stuff unless there's like genuine, like there's depth inside you and, you know, you can look past the game. It takes 2 people to be able to do that. So it was no surprise that Josh and Devin became friends to me because both of them are great people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And kind of speaking of Josh, I wanted to ask this question because from what we saw in the edit is Josh kind of playing both sides of the house, you know, with the Vacation Alliance and then also kind of siding over on Bananas Angels. And there was a lot of back and forth on that. What was it like navigating your guys' friendship within the game itself?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because when we flash back to like Challenge USA 2, like that final vote, I did vote Josh in. Josh ended up going against Fessy. Josh ended up going home. So I had a really difficult time because I used that decision in that game to better my political standing with Corey, which ended up paying off this season. Right.
Yeah.
Because Corey did have my back and I had been able to prove to Corey that when push comes to shove, I'll do what I say I do.
Right.
So, but at the expense of that, it cost me my trust with Josh. Therefore, now we have this like, you know, stain on our friendship. And I think I had a particularly different relationship with him than the other members of the Vacation Alliance because Devin didn't have that, like, you know, stain. Casey didn't have that stain. So their expectation of Josh is a lot higher. And it's a lot more like, oh, well, I've never fucked you over. So how dare you?
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not saying Josh fucked anybody over. I'm just saying like, it's different. For me, I knew I had to regain Josh's trust. So if he wanted to play the game the way he wanted to play it, the best I can do is be understanding and just see where the cards fall. So I was in a different position than the other members of the Vacation Alliance. And I think that like, I just knew that coming into this one, my only way to get his friendship back overall was to just allow him to play the game he wanted to play.
Well, I think that's a true mark of friendship anyways, is understanding that they might go down a different road, but still support them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think it's just funny because Bananas was like trying to like get Josh mad at me all season, you know, painting me as the person that was like, you know, because he didn't hear our intimate conversations. He probably assumed I was one of the people that was like, you know, but looking back at it, it's like, no, you idiot.
You big dummy.
You big banana.
You dumb head.
Yeah. You know, like, shut up.
Look, one of my favorite scenes was still when he won that elimination and he found out you voted and you're like, eat my shit, Banana.
It's like, you know what? I try to be classy, and then there was that one moment. It was like the floodgates were open. Here's the real me. It was the most authentic reaction I think I've ever had on the challenge. Because all day I was holding it in. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get picked to be a target. Let me just nominate. You know, like instead of being afraid of it, let me just like step up to the plate and just take whatever it takes. Because I knew if I put Bananas in, he was gonna shoot back. It's just it's over now. You know, so. Dude, I had producers and camera guys coming up to me the next day, dapping me up, being like, "That was really funny."
Yes, it was perfect.
It's like Tourette's.
Yeah,
It's just that
it was like Tourette's.
Or I was telling Karina the other day. Karina is one of my best friends, so she knows, she gets all the deep, dark inner thoughts. And I was telling her one time, I was talking to one of my friends and it just came out. And it's like in Lord of the Rings when Bilbo sees the ring on Frodo and it's just like the demon comes out. But it goes right back in. It's just a little blip. It's fine. It happens to the best of us.
It was warranted, and I bet it felt great.
You know what? Johnny Bananas has been gracing our screens for fucking years now. Like, sometimes and he is the first person to make a joke about somebody at their expense. And so, you know what? Like, I was like, if I'm going to give this energy to anybody, this motherfucker can handle it. You know?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. So I had moments where I felt kind of bad because I do like Johnny, but it was just the game. It was this season.
I think it's interesting, right? Because Bananas is a very powerful person in this game. His reputation is powerful. His physical just being is powerful in the house, social, all of that.
Yeah.
And so it's very rare that we actually see the girls stand up to Bananas. And so to see you fight back, even something as simple as when it kind of seemed like he was trying to intimidate you when you guys were in the bedroom and he like hid in the closet or whatever. And you were like, all right, fine, game on, Bananas. Like, you didn't let him intimidate you in that moment. And I was like, yes, like this is what we need. These are the kind of women that we need playing against Bananas. You know, so I loved it.
It gave Evelyn on the island vibes.
Yes.
Did it?
Yes.
That's awesome.
But I mean, look, I liked you guys working together. I always have.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Bananas just as much as I'm a fan of half of the cast. But your guys' drama is what carried the second half of the season through. Like, because look, there wasn't a lot of conflict in the house, and so you guys kind of went at each other, and we see
conflict. Yeah,
we see, and you know, you might disagree, Tori, but you're pretty much the face of the challenge over the last 6 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, thank you so much.
Don't boost my ego too much. But to go against, you know, the quote unquote face of the challenge on the male side with Johnny, it's like these two powerhouses going at each other, and it made for great TV.
It was so fun. And I have a confession. I love Bananas.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do.
You know?
I love you. So this was a very hard season for me, but I enjoyed watching you go at him because it is so satisfying.
Yeah, it was fun. Listen, the one thing I'll say about it is Johnny and I never crossed a personal line. It never got ugly. It got like right up to that line sometimes, and then it was kind of like, okay, like we're not going there with each other.
Yeah,
right.
And after it was all said and done, that's the reason why him and I were able to look at each other. The moment I locked myself into the final after the water treading elimination, him and I had not spoken to each other the entire time since I voted him in. So that was episode 8. So now
my God.
Not unless we were like, you know, coming at each other, but there was not like a little, no, because we knew that this game is now revolving around us having drama. If we squash our beef, this is going to be boring as fuck. We have to squash it at the end.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to talk about it. We have to, but we're both professionals. Like, truly, it stemmed from an authentic place. There were moments where I was genuinely mad at him, and I'm sure he felt the exact same way. But when it was all said and done and over, and like actually a good time to talk about it, we talked about it, and it was fine. You know,
I love that.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, that it stayed on the show.
Yeah,
you know
it stayed on the show. It stayed on the show.
Yeah, I hate seeing friendships break up because of stuff that happened on the show. You know, I really like seeing that separation, seeing, you know, people be able to separate what happened in the game from like, this is you in the game and this is you as an actual person. I might not enjoy the way you play the game, but I like you as a person, you know? And so I really admire that.
And I was a little bit curious, like it was interesting to watch you guys go from not necessarily each other's number ones, but you guys have always worked together. Like Bananas and you guys have always worked together. And then to kind of like, you know, becoming each other's number one target. And I was just curious, is it because you have one toe that's longer than the other?
I had to get my revenge back eventually.
There we go.
I've had this plan stored in my second toe for a long time.
It's the toes. That gives me hope because I have your feet, or we have the same feet, and that's been my big thing with Bananas this season. Is he's never gonna like me because of my toes.
Never gonna like you because your toes. No,
we have a running joke because we want to interview Bananas someday before this podcast is done, and we're like, eventually somebody's just gonna have to send him feet pictures, and Katie's like, it can't be me.
It can't be me. I'd love it to be me. It can't be me, guys.
Yeah, I think you lure him in with some feet for sure.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll just send toes, not even the whole foot, just random toes, just willy nilly. Then you'll never know.
I think you cut your foot off and send it to him in the mail.
There we go. Okay.
It's getting kind of dark, especially when Katie was like, "I've got Tori's feet." I was like, "You should probably give those back."
I love that this little foster kitty is jumping up on you. So sweet.
I know. They're so cute. I saw them run into the room a few minutes ago, and I was like,
dude, they're the cutest. Like fostering is like officially now my new favorite hobby. People are like, what are your plans? Like now that you're going to take a break from the challenge, I'm like, be with cats.
Give me all the cats.
What is another option? You know, like just show. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, they're
Is
so
it
sweet.
so hard to give them away though? Like that, I feel like I could never foster because I would just get attached to everything, and then they don't. Then I just have a billion animals.
Well, my buffer is that my cat Miso is actually a bitch. So like,
that'll do it.
She's been doing good.
She's been chill, but I know she doesn't actually want them here. So it's like the buffer is like, you know, I'll get them. I have to get them out because eventually Miso needs her alone time again. And so it's,
I get it.
Like only child syndrome.
It's 1 billion%. Yeah. So bad.
oh my God.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up with, as I saw in your stories, that you are doing matching donations for foster. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So because I won the money from the Burger King challenge, I like the moment I won that money, like I was obviously so grateful. And then I was like, oh my God, like I just won money because, you know, of burgers and like, you know, cows and the animal industry. And like, it just kind of got me thinking like Burger King probably wouldn't have let me win this challenge had they known who was winning it, you know? So then I was just kind of like, all right, well, maybe I can use this money and give it back to the animal community in some way. And so I was just, you know, reaching out to a bunch of organizations, but the place that I foster through, she's currently fostering animals through her mother's garage. She has fostered over 1,000 cats and helped over 1,000 cats in the South Jersey area. And she does it all by herself in her mom's garage. And she has a vision and a goal of getting a place around here. And so she's trying to raise money for it. So I was like, let me just match the donations, like up to $5,000, trying to help her raise money. And we're halfway there. And
awesome.
I'm really excited about that.
Yay.
But yeah, I definitely feel like money comes, money goes. I definitely announced that I was donating the money prior to losing everything in fourth place. But I was like, you know what? Money comes, money goes. Like you just got to let it flow through your life and be a conduit to it. And that's what it's for. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to continue to raise money. So if you guys are looking for a fundraiser to be a part of, just know I'm matching up to $5,000. Go to the link in my bio on my Instagram at Tori_deal and sign up, baby. Let's get these kitty cats into a house.
Nice.
Yes.
We'll have everything linked in the description too. If you're not already following Tori, we'll have a link to her IG as well, so you can go check that out.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, you're doing a phenomenal thing.
That's so cool.
I mean, out of our relationship, I'm the cat person.
Yes!
So yeah.
I'm the cat person too.
Yes!
I actually have 2 black cats, and when I saw those little, is one of their names Pudding?
Pudding, yeah. Pudding
oh
and
my
Toffee.
gosh. I just have like a soft spot for the black cats.
Yeah.
But
same.
2 is enough. A lot of poop.
Lots of poop.
So much poop.
Yeah. I mean, all animals are just so great, you know, like we don't deserve animals and they're here. So we might as well take care of them. Anybody who has a pet or who does any work, my dad doesn't even like animals. He's never liked pets. My dad's a great guy, but like it's a long story.
I don't trust him now.
It's a long story.
I don't trust him.
It's a long story. But listen.
We don't have enough time for this. I'm just kidding.
Listen to this. I have to defend my dad because I am a full-fledged daddy's girl.
Dude, your dad's awesome.
He is amazing. And that is his one thing where him and I like thoroughly disagree on. But ever since I've been doing like a lot of these public donations, he reached out to me the other day. It's like, I just want you to know I started donating $25 a month to the ASPCA. And so like he's now monthly.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah. So like,
okay.
It's working, you know, like people out there who don't even like feel like they connect with animals. I mean, my dad connects with me, obviously, but like still, like I think anybody who does work in any capacity, if you've ever rescued an animal, if you've ever donated it, if you've ever, you know, anything like that, it's just amazing. It's like, it's beautiful work. And like, it makes me feel passionate to be alive. So I just want to continue to see where this path takes me.
No, that's so awesome. And yeah, I love that, honestly. And I think like your dad is such like an awesome guy. And every time I like hear you talking about him or anything, all I can remember is I can't remember when, like how long ago it was, but you had made like a story post or something talking about how like every time you go home, like your dad takes you to the train the next day and like waits there and waves as you like go around the corner until he can't see you. Bruh, just the sweetest freaking thing in the whole wide world. So yeah, your dad can be not an animal person. He's still a great guy.
Yeah.
It was him calling into the radio show after you one ride or dies.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I love that so much.
It's so cute. And they asked him, they're like, who do you want to win? Your daughter on the challenge or the Eagles in the Super Bowl? My dad was like, my daughter, fuck the Eagles. I'm like, the Philadelphia radio. I'm like, Dad, you gotta hide. These
maybe don't say that, Dad.
You gotta lay low for a little bit, Dad. Jeez.
People are going to be looking for you.
Do you know what you just said?
And where you just said it?
Yeah.
Getting into the season, I wanted to ask you because to me, from the outside looking in, this was like one of your most dominant seasons that you've had. There wasn't any point in the season where I was like, oh, Tori's not the best woman out there.
Thank you. Except for the final. Except for the end.
If there was a different elimination, if you had the 4-wheeler challenge or elimination,
maybe
I feel like we'd be having a different discussion right now. But
but you never know. I think it was the I mean, I'm sure we'll get into the final, right?
Yeah,
and we're gonna So I'll save my thoughts on that. But I think like, you know, talking about this season, I definitely came into it feeling pretty confident. And I also came into it feeling pretty scared because I looked around and obviously how can you not see this lineup? Like there's plenty of champs. There's a lot of relationships, 4 different eras. But I think I can't really describe it. Like, I think it is just, you know, I trained really hard to be on this season and I just allowed myself to remain calm, I think is the biggest thing. And obviously mentally and emotionally, I've just been in a different place. I think there's just been so much growth over the years that it just really kind of makes you solid when it comes to like your self-perception. I just know, I've been through enough mud that I'm not going to drown in it at this point. And so I think there's like this underlying confidence that exists somewhere. And then like, you know, there was moments where I was proving to myself, I was like, wait a minute, like I'm doing this, you know, like, wait a minute, I won again. Holy shit. Like, oh, I won again. Like, what? there was a lot of like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening, which is why I really, really felt confident going into the final. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably just been experience doing a lot of them back to back to back. And then I'm just happy that, you know, for the longest time, people had been saying, oh, Tori gets carried to the challenge finals. She gets carried there off of relationships. Yeah, sometimes relationships have saved me, but also like this season, you cannot at all say that I did not earn it. Like I fought my way there. I won 2 eliminations. I won 5 individual challenges. Like,
and you brought people with you. You know what I mean? Like you did like, and that's the thing is social and politics have always been a part of the challenge. You know what I mean? It's always been, you know, help your friends as much as you can, right? Try to get as many of your people as you can to the final. And, you know, and it was your season to kick ass and bring your friends with you. And it was really cool to see that. And I loved seeing like just the evolution of your game, just as simple as, you know, like causing those issues, I don't want to say causing like it was your fault, but like, you know, fighting that battle with bananas was something we've never really seen that style of gameplay from you. And it was so exciting. I was like, oh my God, Tori's out here like causing drama, talking shit. Like she's confident this season. And it made me like super confident in the season. So I love the energy that you came in with this season.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you really said it. I mean, yes, Ahsoka, yes. Oh,
you were talking about pets.
Yeah.
I'm right here, guys.
You like cats? What are you talking about?
Doggies are so sweet too. I love doggies too.
Well, I'm mad at her. Karina sent me a video of this Australian Shepherd that like does dishes and laundry and
literally
like runs a Swiffer. And I'm like, this lazy bitch just sits here all the time and does nothing.
Just
living here rent free.
Yeah. Gets spoiled and barks at trees and is useless.
But I mean, you said it, like the lineup on this, and especially on the women's side, it was the murderer's row of female competitors in the challenge. I mean, like up and down every era, and especially in era 2 and era 3. I mean, you and Janae have been the, you know, most dominating women in the last 7 seasons in the challenge, you know? So seeing your performance and how you did in dailies, how you did in eliminations. And it's not like you had layups in eliminations. You went against Casey and fucking Cara.
Yeah.
And, you know, arguably Casey, I think, is top 10 women that have done the challenge. Cara's top 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, even without you getting a win or a second or third, it definitely, like, in the hypothetical challenge rankings, it definitely moved you up. It proved how much of a beast you are in this game.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because like, you don't want to have to prove that stuff because that means you have to do it. You know, walking into the season thinking, oh, if I would have known I was going to go up against Casey in elimination or Cara in elimination, I probably would have had an anxiety attack the moment I walked in the door because so much feels like it's on the line with that. Like people do assess, oh, like, you know, they imagine a matchup and they use whoever wins as this person is better. When in reality, it's what elimination did you get and who's going to be better at that.
Yeah.
And like, so it's always terrifying. So to be able to have won both of them, like, listen, I think there are eliminations Cara would have beat me. I think there are eliminations Casey would have beat me. It's just a matter of what the game is. I just felt so like I felt like the universe had my back, that it was giving me an opportunity to at least show that I can remain calm under that, you know, the cable connection showdown. And then a 3-hour water treading elimination, which is like, what the who the fuck? What happened is they got to the Philippines and they ran out of budget and they said, you know what?
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We spent too much on our CT pro tips. So this is what we got to do now.
Yeah, for sure. So
spent too much on them quads. We got to make up for it.
Yeah.
I just have to say, like, thank God you guys are like millennials and we had to deal with like the red and yellow aux cords.
Oh,
so
my God.
we've been training our whole lives for that elimination to a degree. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Well, Casey, I don't know if you know, but on her arm, she has a Nintendo controller tattooed.
Yes.
She's a gamer.
Yes.
When I saw that we were playing with plugs, I was like, gosh.
Fuck
You know?
me.
And she almost won. Like it was truly, it was seconds.
Yeah.
Like you can't, it was insane. So like, yeah, it's anybody's game at any point in time. I think like what makes somebody a great challenger is obviously you're going to have losses on your record. No, there's not one person who hasn't lost. Even the great, you know, CT has lost, Jordan has lost, like everybody has, it's just a matter of like, can you have a streak of wins somewhere in you, or can you beat somebody that it's just, and can you do it long enough to the point where people can see how well-rounded you can be? So yeah, I think it's obviously an honor to be a part of the challenge community. Like truly, I think I respect it a lot more now than I think I ever have, just because of the amount of stuff that we've had to do. But also it's like the rankings, as much as I thought like, they mattered, they just don't. Like, they don't matter, you know?
Well, and that's the thing, like you said, Could Casey beat you in that elimination? Yeah. I mean, and is there eliminations that Cara could probably beat you in? Yeah. And that's why I think it's really more about like a body of work over time, not necessarily an elimination.
Well, and I mean, and this kind of lends to a huge discussion that we just had on our final recap. And I think it was something you wanted to ask Tori about anyway. So I'll just go ahead and bring it in is, a lot of people will look at, like, for example, look at the males. Bananas got 7 wins. CT's got 5. Jordan now has 5. And they're like, oh, Bananas is the GOAT. He's the greatest because he has 7. But if you actually look at all of at everything, you look at all the points, in my personal opinion, Jordan is the greatest person to ever play this game, and nobody touches his stats. Like if you look at win percentages and you look at more than just 7 and 5.
Absolutely.
It's hard to argue. And so I'm curious because, obviously you know Jordan, Bananas, you play with them, you know CT, you played with them. Who, in your opinion, is like the greatest of all time?
Oh, Jordan. It's not a question. It's not.
Yeah.
He is not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes as challengers. Like he's got his flaws. And I'm just talking game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 But Bananas doesn't. It's just not, he's great. He's incredible. He'll surprise you. You'll be like, oh shit, I can't believe he did that. And then, but Jordan is different. Like Jordan is truly different. And it's starting to be unfair that he keeps it coming back and just winning. No, but it's truly, and even who he is as a person, like, I just wonder sometimes, like, wow, this person who's gone through so much trouble in his life because he did have a disadvantage with having one hand and like playing sports, and then that had to like carve him into this person that he is today, who is relentless and just it's in his blood. It's not like he goes out of his way. It's like ingrained in him since he was before born, I think. It's just kind of his path in this life, and it's really just powerful. It's really, and like now he's doing race car driving. Like
what? That's crazy.
Wild.
He's so talented, but still so different that he's on this planet like his purpose is definitely to show people that it's possible.
Yeah.
Specifically 100%. People that have limb differences. Like, and that is just iconic. Like, so there is something so amazing about who he is as a person and his story in life that like, it makes him the GOAT,
Absolutely. And that's my thing is like, whenever I have not an argument, a debate with someone and they bring up Bananas and CT, which are valid points. Yeah. They're extremely valid. I say, do you think they would have the same amount of wins if they only had one fully functional hand?
Yeah.
Do you think they would still have 7 and 5? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think we've talked about this on the podcast too, is it's like, anybody who, doesn't know the situation and just looks in on Jordan on the challenge for the first time, they'd be like, oh, this guy's at a serious disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because he's only got one hand. And then you watch him and you're like, wait, we need to, like, can we get everybody else like a third hand maybe? Because he's still above everybody else.
I'll take one.
It's just, it doesn't hinder. It doesn't seem, I mean, I'm sure it does. Obviously he has his struggles and he's spent his life learning how to, function and deal with it. But it just doesn't seem to hinder him. And, like we were even talking about we'll get into the final, but the little water scooter thing. I was like, how is he good at this? Like, this is so random. And he's just like, I was waiting for him to jump like a dolphin and just have fun. Like, how is he good at everything he does? It's crazy.
It is amazing. It's truly amazing. And like in the same breath, like I said this at the reunion too, because we all were asked to vote. Who do we think the GOAT is? Like, I think also, like, there's many ways to look at the challenge. The challenge is not only just a competition show, it is a reality show. And Johnny is 100% the king of reality.
Oh,
like
100%.
If you had to pick one person to say this personality sums up the challenge, it's Johnny Bananas.
Yes.
And so like, I feel like there has to be different categories of GOAT because
I agree.
It's not just a straightforward, like, and then you have the CT who like is like, I would say like the heart of the show in a way, because everyone loves CT. And, Jordan is just like
Michelle.
the oh my God, that was so funny. Oh my God, that was
I was
so
just
funny.
thinking, I was like, hopefully they don't all like jump her in the parking lot after this. She's got security to get back to their car.
Oh my God. Well, that was so funny because she was asked that question and they were waiting for Michelle to answer. And Devin was finally like, just say anybody. And then she was like, CT, and he was like, anybody. And so if you would have been there in person, like it really took a long time for her to answer. And then finally, that's the name she spit out. Like it was like, what the fuck? It was so funny. Like,
I just was like, she's trying to get a rival season going.
There you go. That's smart.
and you know what? You're on to something.
But no, I agree. And we actually, like a year or so ago, we did like a series, like a 4-part series of Mount Rushmore. And we did like, who were the goats for like the pillars, the people who started the show, who's the goats for like the trendsetters, who's the goats for like the most entertaining, and who's the goats for like the best physical, you know what I mean? And so I do agree with that like sometimes you got to break it down. It's not so linear.
It's not so cut and dry, for sure not.
Yeah, for me, it's the basketball analogy, right? Like, to me, Jordan is Michael Jordan. He does shit that you're like, that shouldn't be possible. And then he's got the fucking killer instinct. Like, if he knows he's going to beat you, he's going to put his foot down.
Yeah.
And we saw it last year in when he was a mercenary with Syrian.
Oh my God. That was the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's like the LeBron James. He's just fucking good at everything. And given enough time, he's going to win. And then there's Bananas, who's like, almost like Bill Russell, right? Like he's just won. He was ahead of the pace of everybody else, other than maybe CT, but CT was on something else at that point.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's so I do have one question, and it leads into, I think, a bigger conversation that we're going to have, which is the conversation with you and Kara, and where did that start at? Because last time we talked, there was different feelings amongst you two.
Was it on camera?
Yes, it was.
See, what the fuck?
I know.
I would have rather had that over the stupid fight with her and Laurel. Sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
We got so much feet and zero Tori and Kara. What is that?
I know. I cannot comprehend it. Like, I'm like, was the camera person forgetting to record? Like,
right? It wasn't on. He ran out of batteries.
Yeah. I'm like, what happened, dude? But you know what? It's crazy because the conversation happened so early in the season that's why I think it didn't make air, because I think the Kara and me storyline they saved for later, which is like, it's what happened. And CT was actually present for the conversation. So I don't think that they could have actually you can't like erase CT from the convo, and if they would have aired it so early, then I think it would have been like, oh, wow, this is happening. But still, regardless, I'll tell you how the conversation went, because like it is the reason why Kara and I like really opened up to one another. But she came up to me out of the blue. I mean, I think Pauly had just left. I think it was like after her elimination too, obviously. And, that whole thing had happened with Laurel in the beginning where the Bananas and Laurel voted her in. And she came up to me and she was just so real. And she was just like, I just want to apologize because over the past couple years, I feel like I, in a way, have been envious that you've been on the show, but like growing into this version of you. And I wanted that to be me. And like, I was just like, wow, like it takes so much for a person to say that.
To be that vulnerable.
No, for real.
So vulnerable that you cannot fake that. That's real, and then I obviously was apologizing for like all the snarled remarks I had said, and everything. And it just opened up this like ability for us to be like, wow, like maybe there is something here. Like if we're going to meet each other with this authenticity and be open to this, like maybe we can, maybe something's here. And then I think the moment that, I shifted away from Bananas and she was also not working with him, it really opened up the potential for her and I to be on the same side, develop trust, have some fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Some much needed fun.
Oh my God.
Her, like, and the girls, like I had such a great time with her, Michelle and Derek and Olivia. And like everybody that was like there pretty much past the halfway point. Naya, like all of the girls. And it was just so different. And I think like the moment she said that, I was like, wow. And then for us to kind of like have to go into that final elimination together, it was just kind of like the universe is making us go through this.
Yep. They're testing it. Yep.
It's like, okay, well, you guys have been poking each other for a long time and you may be friends, but you're not off the hook yet, motherfucker.
Final test.
Yeah, you're
Sink
not
or
off the
swim,
hook.
bitches. Pun intended.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. And I was so impressed with Cara in that elimination because in true Cara fashion, like her style and her rawness is when she is afraid of something or she doesn't like something, she's very vocal about it. You'll know if Cara doesn't want to jump out of the plane. You'll know if she doesn't want to go in the water. You'll know, she'll tell you straight up. But the thing about Cara is she will fucking do it until she can't do it anymore. And so I was getting in the water thinking like, okay, tread water. It's going to last 20 minutes. 2.5 hours go by. I'm like, she's not going down. Like, she's not, she is a fighter through and through. And I think both of us we see ourselves in the other. And so
real recognizes real.
We do too.
It was my favorite thing to walk away from this season with. Like, obviously winning would have been awesome, like winning the whole thing, but knowing that her and I got to like bury the hatchet, I think is more than a win in many, many ways, because my conscience feels clear. She is so fun to be around. And I feel like in the future, we're going to be able to like maintain that friendship.
I love that.
We're going to cry about this friendship again.
Yes.
We've all already cried over it once.
And it was so funny because first of all, major props to you and Cara. I don't know if it was production's idea or if it was something you and Cara had, discussed and decided upon. But either way, we got. Because as soon as you and Cara started working together, immediately, Instagram. Are they following each other? They're not following each other. They must get in a fight again later this season. And so we're waiting. We're waiting. When does it blow up? And then, of course, after, then you guys started following each other.
I'm losing you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh, no.
No, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Can you hear us?
It's so weird how when you say I'm losing you, can I hear you? Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, just kidding, here we are.
JK, hello.
Okay, so I heard you say we got because people were following to see if we were following each other, right?
Yeah, so we went and checked Instagram as soon as you and Cara started working together, and we saw you guys were not following each other. And so we were like, they must get in a fight or something again later this season. When does it happen? And we were waiting for weeks. And then finally it all ended and you guys started following each other, started posting your pictures together. And I was like, oh, they got us. They tricked us.
Well, you know what? We waited because she presents a gift to me at the reunion that is so fucking hilarious.
Oh,
so
I can't wait.
We wanted to like not expose everything yet because so we were going to wait till after the reunion, but then it was at a point where we were like, all right, it's time to just follow each other. So
yeah.
I know when I saw like Carly on Blacksmith.
Well, I think your guys' friendship and what we saw is it's almost like you two liberate each other. Like you guys, bad terminology, but like you guys allow each other's freak flag to fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the best friends do.
Yeah, like your light empowers her light to shine.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what's happening. I guess
Sweefy.
Holly, is that you?
Right?
I can't. Production again interfering with me and Cara's friendship. No,
right?
Son of a bitch.
No, but I think what you were saying, and I think we talked about this on one of our recaps, is like your guys' friendship is just it's so like raw and it feels so real, and like you guys give each other, I don't want to say give each other permission, but like you guys allow each other to just like be weird and have fun and not worry about being judged. And that was always one of Cara's biggest things in her earlier seasons is like, I constantly think of, I think it was Rivals 1. And they were all out at the beach having a free day and she's sitting in the sand by herself, drawing in the sand. And Kenny, Evan, and Bananas are just ridiculing her for being weird, for drawing in the sand by herself. And like that scene always broke my heart. And so then to just see her like be so free in being weird and dressing up and being funny and stuff was awesome this season.
Oh no, I think I lost you again.
Oh no.
This is so sad. I'm so sad.
6.5 hours later.
All right, I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Perfect.
Worst case, I'll just put on a wig and pretend to be Tori.
Oh, great.
I think I'm back. All right, I think we're good now. We're on the 5G.
Sometimes the charm, okay?
Okay. All right, so back to what you were saying about Cara drawing in the sand, and then I didn't hear the rest of that story.
I was just saying, like, there's the scene on Rivals 1 where she's, they're all at the beach. She's drawn in the sand by herself. And behind her, Kenny, Evan, and Bananas are all like mocking her and making fun of her for being weird and all this stuff. And so seeing her be so free to just dress up and be silly and have fun was amazing. And then there was I think it was the episode where you guys ended up doing your elimination, and Cara was like, like kind of down on herself. And you were like, no, you're a bad bitch. You're going to go in there. You're going to kick it. And I'm like, that's the kind of fun that Cara needs. She needs a girl's girl who will hype her up when she gets stressed or gets nervous or anxious or whatever. And it was so awesome to see you guys be that way, be like that with each other.
I feel like it was so healing for me too, which is why, like, I realize I'm hyping her up to go into elimination against me, which is like this kind of goes against what you're supposed to do. But in reality, like, there's a human to human connection at this point. We've drug each other's name through the mud enough. Like, let's like just be genuine people for a second. And I think that I also like to be weird. There's been many times when like I think it's different because Cara has been picked on and bullied, and like I haven't had the experience of being bullied. Like, I definitely do weird shit, but like people haven't like banged up on me and bullied me on an individual level. Some people will attack me, but not like a full group. So I can't even imagine how that must have felt for her, and like how, of course, that has shaped her challenge career, and like why absolutely now she's still going to have this long-term beef with Johnny because this person has like, belittled her in the past and made her feel isolated. And that's the thing about Johnny. It's like, you love him and you hate him. He has these moments in him, which are like, did you really have to do that? Like he can do things that to me are not, I wouldn't do. There are some jokes he'll make where I'm like, okay, that's funny. Sometimes he's so fucking funny. And sometimes he's just like, I can't relate to that kind of humor. So it just depends. But it's just a matter of there being so many different personalities on the challenge.
Yeah, no, 100%. And all I really want to know is, are we going to get like people of the village? Excuse me, people of the village with you and Cara.
Gentlemen of the village. Maybe. You know what? I'm thinking now I have a great video. You just made me think of a great idea.
Mark it, write it down before you forget it. I do that shit all the time.
Carl is in my mind now. I'll never forget
Steel trap up there.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is like after I had posted on my story, like, when we did Michelle's birthday, like, hey ladies, would anybody want to hire Carl and Dave for your bachelorette parties? So many people responded. Like, could you imagine hiring me and Cara, but Carl and Dave?
Oh my God.
For bachelorette
just for
parties?
entertainment. Sold.
I mean, Carl is an exquisite stripper. Dave, my version of Dave, has a very tiny penis. I have a very tiny penis. So it's like, so small. So like, we would bring different things to the table. And I think they'd be a great duo.
That's amazing. Oh my God, I love it.
Look, that was not the the description I was expecting of Dave, but all right.
That's amazing.
Well, no, he's like the Temu Dave. Like, he is Dave, but like
this Dave likes to shirt dick it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Me
Did
too.
you really just bring out shirt dicking in the middle of an interview?
I'm sorry. She can handle it. She can handle it. See, I knew it. This is Tori. This is why I love you, because I'm a fucking weirdo, and you just show me that it's okay. Let your freak flag fly. So thank you.
If more people were weird, it would be better.
The world would be a better place. See, Rick, I can talk about shirt dicking it wherever I want to.
I really thought Tori was going to say, if more people shirt dicked it would be a better world.
I mean, tell me this isn't like it sounds like we're plotting for world peace over here, because like these just
we are.
We are. I mean,
We're
like
onto something.
We're onto something. We're on something.
We are.
Agreed.
Winnie Pooh in it is the way to go.
Agreed.
So, kind of going into that elimination, I know you brought it up a little bit. I think people really underestimate how fucking difficult it is, not just to tread water, but to tread water with your arms out of the water. You know, I messaged you right away because my mom coached swim for years. And so she used to make me do that shit. And I'd make about 5 minutes. And then I'm like, I'm fucking drowning. Please save me.
Wow.
Send help.
So this elimination, I will explain it in depth, so like you can really get the understanding of what it was like.
In depth, because you're in the ocean.
We're in the ocean. I'm gonna give you the depth. They basically were telling us the rules for it, and they were like, you know, so your head can go under a little bit, and like, you know, they told us we were treading water. They said obviously no life jacket. They said we could like bob up and down underwater a few times. But I was like, what is how are you going to know? What's the signal when you're going to call it? Like, is it close to drowning? And they're like, pretty much.
Fully submerged?
Great.
Cool.
Pretty much. Because the thing is we were in a body of water where the waves would literally go up and down. So sometimes you would be, you know, floating, and it would swipe across your face, and there was like really nothing you could do. And it was interesting because that was so much harder. So even if we could float, and you could because it was super buoyant, like your body from holding that floating position, like when Kara said, it looks like Tori's at a spa, like with my hand behind my head. I was just trying to support my head, my big ass head, because my neck was starting to cramp so bad. And what would happen is the water would literally go over your eyes, and then it would go into your mouth. And because we have these barrels spinning around us, I was starting to get dizzy, like super dizzy. And like you couldn't really, your orientation was getting a little bit messed up. And like, you know, obviously you're getting salt water in your mouth. I mean, it was constant. And so like, therefore my body was getting so dehydrated, like so dehydrated, which is why, well, you're going to learn about on the reunion, or you've already seen. That's why I shit my pants in the final, because literally the next day I am truly like so dehydrated. Like it was so taxing on the body, not even while being in the water, but coming out of it. 3 hours in salt water, being eaten alive by plankton. Literally, I had bite marks all over my body, and then not getting a good night of sleep, and then jumping into the water like 4 hours later in the next morning. Like it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And you really I had to go to my happy place. Like I literally had to like leave my body and just like go to a different place in my mind. It was the only way to survive.
The fact that you guys both stayed in that water when that snake was walking around you guys.
I'd have been done with the snake. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, it was just making me think like, what else is around here? You know, like, like a snake. Cool. What else? This is big. Like,
What's underneath us?
So dark too. There was no lights.
Look, and that's like against one of my rules, which is if I'm not the top thing in the food chain, I stay the fuck out of that situation.
Yeah. Really
so I don't go swimming in the ocean, because there's shit that eats you.
Dude, that's fair.
This is going to be a no for me.
Yeah.
The fact that you guys did that, and then 2 hours of just treading water by itself is torturous. And then once, you know, raising your hands and then your elbows out of the water, the fact that Kara's not as strong of a swimmer as some other people in the challenge, and that she was able to stick with you that long.
Yeah.
And I know you saw it because it came across in the episode where you're like, I'm seeing her start to panic. And once panic sets in the water, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What I was curious on, because they didn't really show us, what did you say to Kara after the elimination was over?
That's when I cried.
Well, I was just telling her, like,
we're all just ugly crying.
You know, obviously both of us swim. Once they blew the horn, it was like silence, and we just kind of both swam over to a barrel and like held on and like put our weight on something for a second. And then I like looked over and like saw her sobbing, and like I was just really sad for her because it was her birthday. Like it's her birthday, and she just did. And so I just wanted to like validate her. And I was like, the first thing I said to her, I was like, if it was a puzzle, you probably would have beat me. And she was like, I know. Cora like fronts like she's not good at puzzles. I think she just says that when she doesn't do one well. She is good at She is.
Yeah.
Like, she has moments where you'll be like, oh shit, she fucking did a puzzle, like she's good. And so I just wanted to remind her, like, listen, like it's again, like what I was saying with the Casey thing earlier and with the card thing, like you don't know what you're going to get on any given day. There's a good chance if we go in again, she'll beat me in the next one. And I just wanted her to know, like, that was the hardest elimination that I had ever been in my entire life. And that, that now, like, we're bonded forever over that. Officially,
for real.
We are Carl and Dave soup, and we are literally bonded forever.
I love it.
I love that so much. So really quick before we move into the final and everything, there was something that I wanted to give you a chance to address. After the elimination aired, obviously, there was a lot of people who were like, Tori cheated. She was floating on her back. That's not treading water. But there were moments that Cara was also floating on her back. So I just wanted to give you a chance to address the Tori cheated comments and rumors.
Well, I think that there was 75,000 camera crews on me. If I was cheating, they would have said, Tori, you're cheating. You have to go. So I think the difficult thing about watching the show as an audience member and like actually being there is there are very clear descriptions of rules that we get from a rules team. And then they're not the rules that TJ announces. After TJ goes over the rules, we literally then go to a rules team and then they explain to us exactly what, and then that's where we ask our questions. And so we asked, can we float? Yes, we can float. This is when we found out, we can go underwater, but not for more than a second or two. Like it can happen. Right. We can bob up and down, but not often. Like you have to like try to stay up. But if the wave hits you or whatever, like they're not going to call it out because of that. There's like natural things that are happening around us that are out of their control. So no, I mean, like, I think that Cara is extremely outspoken. I think that, if she would have said I cheated, you guys would have heard it from her. And there was none of that. So
I was going to say it's pretty telling because she was quick to talk about Jenny's puzzle on that daily before that elimination, and nothing was said about your guys' elimination.
Exactly.
So I think that's pretty telling. So you're saying that there was probably about 4 or 5 hours between when that elimination ended and then you guys got ready to start the actual final.
Yep.
And,
Dang.
And from everything we've heard from what you're telling us, what Cara said is that elimination, kicked your ass. I mean, you swallow salt water, you're going to get dysentery, and that explains shitting yourself. But
yeah, exactly. That's what happened. It was hard.
So what do they do if you're on the boat and that happens?
Oh my God. Well, I had to beg them to give me Imodium and basically almost threaten people. I'm like, I'm at my wit's end. I'm shitting my pants. I was crying to one of the PAs. I was like, I am at the lowest I have ever been. I am just asking for Imodium.
It's not that much to ask for.
Dude, but when you're in a final, they want you to break. They want you to quit because they want you.
I just always think about those women who, like, some people
have their periods,
have their cycles. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, Jenny had her period, right?
What do they do?
I've had my period in half of the finals I've been in. Literally half.
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Oh my God. I would freaking
I think about it all the time. Like, this would be terrible.
Literally,
and just obviously you have all these women, like, chances are.
Yeah. I mean, like, the one thing I will say about the female body that is absolutely amazing is that when you are under stress, your period will be lighter or you won't get it at all. So it's like, it's never become an issue where it's like, I wasn't able to keep up with what, like, but it's, of course, like, it's stress. It's just another stress on the body. But usually when you get to this late in the season, a lot of girls like will completely skip a cycle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it happens often.
That really does make so much sense with all the stress, not even just from all the physical shit, but being in a house for that long. I don't know how you guys do it and stay sane. Like,
Well, our sanity is still in question.
Well, that's questionable, I guess. But like, I know I would never be able to do it for that long. Even being in like a house for a week with a group of girls or like 4 days, I'm like, bye now. I'm gonna go be a hermit. And never leave my house ever again.
Yeah,
it's totally fair. People implode, and those people go home. It's like they're booted. They can't do it. So, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if you really want something. You find your own. You find your way.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. If you went into this final fresh, do you think your outcome changes? I know that's a lot of Monday morning quarterback and what if, but
I think first of all, 100%, I would have had more energy. That's not even up for debate. I just had to exert how much the night before, got 0 sleep pretty much, and then I had to jump right back into it. So for sure. But I am not going to like sit here and not act like I'm not the reason why I was in that elimination in the first place, considering I lost the daily right before. So it is all my doing anyway. But even if I did have max energy, I am nowhere near as good of a swimmer as Michelle or Jenny. Me and Rachel did have moments where sometimes like we were a little bit closer. I honestly didn't watch the first part of the final. I only watched the second. So I don't actually know how it looked when it was edited. But best I think I could have done was third place, truly, because those girls were incredible swimmers. Like, had it been a land only final or like majority land, it would have been a different conversation because I'm a lot more comfortable. I've always been a soccer player. I'm a lot more comfortable running than I am swimming. So yeah, I think it was just the nature of this final. It just is not something I was ever going to excel in.
Well, and that's the conversation me and Karina had. Where like, if this was one checkpoint where they had to do the swim, not the whole final was swimming.
Yeah.
I think Kylan and Tori have a very different placing.
Oh, for sure.
As far as where the final ends, because Kylan was the only one that was somewhat keeping up with Jordan during the season.
Was beating him. He beat him in the last one, except for the puzzle, but Kylan beat Jordan on an endurance challenge. Like, like nuts. That goes unnoticed. Like,
no, we talked about it. Like, Jordan is chasing Kylan right now. This is really freaking weird. Like, we're not used to this.
Yes. Kylan's a big dude. Kylan is like, Jordan is like a compact, like, he's not small, but Kylan's big, So for Kylan to move like that, like, I mean, I do feel bad for Kylan because I feel like him and I were in a similar position. We had such dominating seasons and then, we didn't excel in the swim. So and the thing is like with swimming, it's like, unless you've been exposed to swimming or unless you actively go out there and try, like everybody's got a sidewalk outside. You can go outside and you can go for a run. Everyone can practice running. Not everyone can practice swimming or everybody thinks to. And even if you do practice later in life, you can't go back in time and be a Michelle and join the swim team. You have to do that from an early age. Like,
exactly. Well, and we talked about this during, I think, part one of the final, where it's like, you can go swim in a pool, you can go swim in a lake, you can go to the beach and swim, but it's never going to be the same as being like out in open water with currents and waves and snakes and, whatever the hell else is out there. It's never going to be the same. And that amount of swimming, like you can know there's a difference between knowing how to swim and being a strong swimmer. And if you're not a strong swimmer, this final was just never going to be for, people who weren't very strong in the water. So,
I mean, in my opinion, the only person that was beating Jordan,
a dolphin,
is either maybe Wes, but I don't know. Wes and Jordan swimming. And that girl from World Championship, Emily, the Olympic swimmer. Yeah.
Oh my God. If she would have been here, she would have fucking beat everybody for sure. She
would have beat TJ back to Sinister.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Oh, for sure. I just think about how many times, like at checkpoints, I actually ended up passing somebody, aside from the one where it was like the skull incorrect puzzle one. But like the very first one, once I'm on land, it's a different conversation.
Sorry, we're distracted by the kitty.
Oh, I know. She's herself in the back.
She's rolling around in front of the fireplace. She's rolling around. My gosh.
Oh, sorry.
I've had a black kitty with white paws too. And then
So cute.
So
Yeah.
I know we're getting close to your cutoff time because you said till 3:30. So we got about 10 minutes left. I want to open it up to questions that you guys want to ask Tori before we.
I have one quick one that I really just want to get the answer to, and then I will pass it off to the girls because I have talked to Tori plenty of times. But I am curious about this. Throughout the season, 7 daily wins. I believe it was 3 on the team, 4 individual, which is insanity.
Job clean.
What was your favorite daily for this season?
Like to actually physically do?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
like
Even if
to
you
win.
didn't win it.
Okay.
Yeah, just to do. Like, what was the most fun? What was your favorite one to do this season?
God, I mean, you know what? It's all I can think about is the nerves that I felt doing right before every single one. Like none of them are actually fun. I wouldn't describe them as fun because I'm so competitive that like all I care about is like winning them. But obviously,
So what was your favorite to win then?
Yeah, I think one that my favorite one winning was definitely the one right after we switched into individual and I put bananas back in because I had just come off of winning the elimination and then to win the daily next. I just was really proud of myself for that. And that was a really, really hard one. Like that, we were in 106 degrees and
that was the one where you guys were putting the balls in the tube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And girls were dropping like flat, not even girls, everybody was, people were really, really like their bodies were shook over that. So I think that's when I realized like, okay, my puzzle skills are decent enough. And like my pace in this heat is good enough that I have a fighting chance in this final because I thought it was going to be running. That's on me.
I feel like they got everybody because we didn't even expect it to be swimming. We were like, oh, a desert, a mountain. And no, we were all of us were wrong. Everyone wrong.
Yeah. EJ tricked us. He tricked everybody with that. It'll be a lot less green. You liar. What you mean blue? It's blue now.
So my last question is, and just this is for my own kind of just curiosity. Were you guys allowed to eat at all during the final?
So at the very end of the night, they gave us like a survivor wrap of a survivor leaf with like a pack of rice in it. And so just a tiny little bit of rice.
Oh no.
Nothing goes with dysentery like a little bit of rice.
Yeah.
I almost ate the leaf. I was like, can I eat this leaf? You can't eat the leaf. Okay.
Oh, what?
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Is this one of those leaves from Colombia that I can get some energy out of?
For real. Funny story, like real quick funny story. They gave us like one night of food. So the night of my elimination with Cara, they had given everybody like a meal that night. And so I think it was Jenny or Bananas. They saved it. It was an old like bolognese, like pasta bolognese, and they stuffed it on top of the mirror in the in the bathroom. And so like they kept going to the bathroom like midnight and everyone's like kind of wondering why. And turns out they were in there and they were scooping old bolognese into their mouth. How disgusting.
Oh my God.
How fucking gross is that, dude?
That sounds like another good way to shit your pants.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, people get so afraid that you're not going to be able to eat that people will literally like burrow like nasty shit. Like it's.
Oh my God.
I know. And then, well, one time, and then Jenny came out of the bathroom and she says to Johnny, like, oh, I found a tub of toothpaste. We can eat that if we get on.
No!
And Johnny's like, you can't eat toothpaste.
Oh my God, we heard about that, but we were like, no way, that's true. Hopefully she did not eat that
No,
toothpaste.
that is true. They didn't eat it though, but she is like she was in so survival mode that yeah.
The hair, that explains a lot with the hair now.
Do you
my
remember
God.
do you remember Laurel's power bar?
Oh, yeah.
That she used to keep it like in her pants and her ass crack, and she'd just pull it out during a daily and start eating and then stick it back in her pants and her ass crack. Like,
Oh, no.
Laurel, that's so gross.
It's so funny.
That's gross, but not a bad idea. It's your own ass.
you shit with that ass?
It's like Kyle featuring his diabetes medicine up his ass on vendettas.
Nuts. That's nuts to
It's
me, bro.
nuts.
Then run up the Rock of Gibraltar. Like,
With a needle in your ass.
bro.
and stand there overnight holding a fucking battery pack.
Dude, Kyle is unhinged. Unhinged.
Oh my god! He like first time we talked, I was like, "Oh, we want to talk to CT and Bananas." Now it's like I want to talk to like the most unhinged people on the channel. Like I want to talk to Kyle. You know what I mean?
He's so funny, dude. He is so. I love Kyle. I fucking love Kyle. He's so funny.
Alexis, Katie, do you guys have any questions for Katie or for Tori before I fuck up anything else?
Yeah. Do you want to go? Or do you want me to go?
Well, mine will be quick, so I
Mine's
feel like
not,
you should go last.
so-
Yeah, you should go last. You can go last. So my question is about all of the events you've been doing with your books.
Thanks.
Do you plan to have more? And do you think you're going to branch out like out of your state? I'm wondering in hopes that maybe me, Katie, and Karina can all meet each other again.
The FOMO that happened
Okay, where
for
do
the
you guys-
last ones.
Where do you
where's
guys want me to
Oliver?
have one? Well, where do you guys want to meet?
I know. Where do we want to meet, guys? That's the question.
Well, I live in Indianapolis and we have a lot of cool stuff here, but anywhere. I don't know. We're all in different parts of the U.S.
We're gonna have to
You guys let me
table
know.
that portion of the discussion.
I wasn't ready for that question.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the answer is yes. Like, I definitely am going to be using this year as I take a break from filming to just like really put a lot of energy into my books. We have a second Search for Syrup coming out in the spring,
Oh, yay.
which is really exciting. It's called The Land of Lunch. And
Oh my gosh.
the first world is all breakfast food. The second book is all lunch. And then obviously you see the trajectory it's going on. It's based around meal times. I'm so
Cute.
excited about that. But we're definitely going to be doing a bunch of stuff. So you guys just let me know. Like, let me know what city you want me to come to. I need to do a poll. The vote, the city that gets the most votes, like definitely want to do it a place where as many people can come to it because it's so fun. To do stuff with everybody and meet everybody in person. And I always do events in New York. I think maybe I'll do one in Philly coming up soon. And then obviously Fort Lauderdale for Challenge Mania. Are you guys coming to that? Is anybody coming to Challenge Mania? No?
No, I can't make it to Florida, but I did make it to Nashville once and met you at a karaoke bar singing Fergalicious with Dave.
I was just going to
So
say.
that was like a big,
I was just going to say.
moment for me.
Dude, yes. And also like
She was so excited.
so funny too because of that night, Dave and I are literally talking about how we want to host karaoke parties. So like I don't know.
Okay. Well, wherever you are, we'll come to that.
Yeah, like how fun would that be? You know, to like
Oh my God,
it's
that would be
amazing.
so much fun.
So we actually back in September did a trip all to Michigan. We
all met in for the first time
Detroit.
and went to Michigan, and we all met in person and spent like 4 days together in Detroit.
Was it
And,
amazing?
it was so much
It
fun.
was so good.
Oh, I
Like, so
love
good for the
that.
soul.
Oh, I love that.
It was so good. for
And
the
then,
soul.
Zach and Pierre were nice enough to let us record at their studio. So we did a recap there.
That's
and
fucking awesome.
it was so much fun. And so we've been talking about like once a year, we want to get the whole group together and we'll just move
somewhere.
locations. So
Yeah, that's such a great idea. That's
Yeah.
definitely a
who
great
knows?
idea.
Philadelphia is kind of like halfway between Rochester and Indianapolis. I'm just saying.
Not really, but
Well, for
good
the
try.
sake of this
Not
conversation,
from
it
where
is.
I am, but yes.
Katie, go ahead and ask your question too.
Oh gosh, now I don't know what to ask because I guess I was going to ask kind of about the events and just a soul spill in general. Like I'm a quote queen, like literally that's half of my doom scrolling is just reading quotes. So I guess I do want to ask about it. Like you are so good at being an open book and being vulnerable and sharing. Like I can't imagine how difficult it is to share something like the soul spill. Not that your children's books aren't special. Like those are wonderful, but
So different.
it's different and it's a different level of vulnerability. So I was just wondering if, are there some that when you were putting it together, you were like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like we'll table that over here. And then maybe this is like a spin-off question, but will there be a volume 2 or something with another title? Or?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. First of all, like I love when people resonate with the Soul Spill or the kids book because like obviously these are my passions and it means so much to me to know that people can connect with them. I personally think that because I write in poetry and like I'm making these words rhyme, it feels like I'm wrapping a very strong sentiment in something that like I can stomach putting out into the world because a lot of people don't read poetry. If you're reading it, it's because you're somebody who's deep, probably. So that means that you're probably sensitive enough to hold what I'm saying, and which means you're probably not going to be too judgmental. So like, I feel like because I say it, and, like there are things that are in the Soul Spill that I would never say on a podcast. Like there are definitely pages in that book that I just would never talk about. If anybody asked me, I'd be like, it's meant to be a poem and it's not going to ever leave that state. So I think because it's written like poetry, I just know like the audience who's going to read that is going to be open to receiving it.
Yeah.
Other than that, because so many people see me post poems and they scroll right by and poetry is not their thing. And that's totally fine. Like I'm not doing it for everybody. Like I'm doing it for me and the people that want to connect with that version of me. So that makes me feel better about it. I think it all depends on that. And then, speaking to if there's going to be a volume 2, I toy with the idea. I also toy with like a few other book ideas and I don't have the answer for what I'm going to create next. I think it's mostly just about allowing it to allow passion to kind of like take me and sweep me up. And then like, okay, this is what's next, Yeah. I think right now I'm so focused on the Land of Lunch and turning the kids book into like a kids YouTube series and like, hopefully like branching out and making a show. So like now I'm like, all right, let me launch this kids book world into something bigger. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Luke's freak out.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So I don't know if this question really applies now, but because you've said multiple times you're going to take some time away from the show and kind of address your other passions. Mm-hmm. A lot of people that we kind of brought up the opportunity to ask you a question, they asked, would you do other types of reality TV like an Amazing Race or
Traders
or anything like that?
For sure. Anything different and fun, absolutely. Probably not Big Brother because I think I would go crazy. And I heard that you can't really fart and you can't sing. And I'm like, I can't fart, I can't sing. Why am I going?
You can't fart? What? That's a bodily function.
I don't know if that's true or not. I guess like the person who told me that is just self-conscious of their flatulence,
because you're always being recorded.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Yeah. So
24/7.
I think if it was a show that was interesting to me, absolutely. Well, I can't say. I mean, I have a tiny little thing coming up, which isn't in the challenge world. So like there's stuff. Ooh. And I'm hoping that as I continue to like isolate myself a little bit from the challenge, that other shows will kind of be like, oh, wait, maybe it would be a benefit to have Tori come on this one. So just opening the door.
I do have a question. If you did Amazing Race, who's your partner?
Oh, Dave or Anissa.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be so
my God.
You and Devin just going randomly, just going crazy around the world, fucking rushing around, finding clues and shit. That would be the most hilarious.
Oh, it'd be so funny. Well, we would win. Oh, like, it's not even a question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would win.
No,
so,
not a question.
I've seen the people that win that show. You guys would smash it.
Yeah.
Dave did the challenge. Did you do it too? You guys did something like this with the challenge.
Exactly. Yeah. It was second chances. Are you the one second chance?
Yes, that's what it was. I'm like, this is springing something in my brain. I know.
And they tried to make him lose that, and he still won that. So if he's my partner, I'm like, we're fine. It's in the bag.
Yeah.
And also, Anissa's one of those people that she goes to any country and all of a sudden she starts speaking the language. I'm like, when the fuck did you learn Vietnamese?
She's so smart, dude. She is so freaking smart. I love Anissa.
Dude, she's so smart. So I feel very confident that if I had either Anissa or Devin, I'd be, and then maybe I would be floating my way to a win. But who gives a shit?
That's a different kind of floating.
Also, since you brought her up, big shout out to Anissa and all the work she's put in over the last year and a half. Amazing. And just, you can see a different light on her face
Mm-hmm.
since then. And it's so cool to see. So fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. She's just living proof that at any point in your life, you can decide to turn the switch on and go after it. Like, truly, she'll reach out to me. She's like, yeah, I just ran 4 miles. I'm like, who is this? Is this the same Lisa that rolled her ankle day one or ride or dies? Like, she and that was Jordan's fault, by the way. But it was he made her run that path to go around us. Like, that's what you get, buddy. Like,
Yes.
karma.
Talk about karma.
Karma, literally. But yeah, I'm always so inspired by her, and she's like, yeah, she's fucking cool, dude. Like, I love knowing that there's people like Anissa. There's not many, but you know, people out there who are just like getting after it, not giving a fuck what people say, and like literally living their life how they want. Those people inspire me the most.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
She is an inspiration. I mean, look, the little bit of conversation I had with Anissa when we interviewed her, other than her yelling at me, which was a highlight of my challenge podcast career.
Still his favorite podcast moment. He's like, I got Anissa to yell at me. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was fucking glorious.
Oh my god.
She said, wait a damn minute. Get him, girl. Get him.
It was so worth it. Like,
He screwed up.
Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'm going to purposely screw up again.
That's
I'll be like,
amazing.
yeah, Anissa, yell at me more.
Yeah.
But the way she lives her life, like you said, like it's what she's passionate, what she cares about, and if it doesn't play, you know, a benefit, it's not about her.
Yeah.
Dude,
I love it.
Anissa has a better social life than me. She is always out doing her thing, and yet she's now at a point where she's doing that, and she's still getting up in the morning and crushing these workouts. And like I said, like she's living her life for her now. And I think it took her a chunk of time to get to this place where she is like really confident in herself again. So yeah, as a friend, it's like, dude, I'm so proud of her, and I love her to death.
I love it. So season 40 for you kind of seemed like one where it was like, you know, burying the hatchet. So my question is, next time you do a challenge season, are we going to see you and Amanda do that?
Oh,
Wow.
no.
That was not our
Sorry.
list, Rick. That wasn't an approved question.
That was not an approved question. Rewind. Skirt. None of us approved that question. Where did you pull that out?
I have to have one.
I'm really thinking about it. And the truth is, I think there's too much history. I think there's too much animosity. And as much as I like to like keep it contained and like always take the higher road, that low road in me does exist, you know? And like,
I support the low
Me
road
too.
for this.
Yeah.
We're all on the low road with you. So
Yeah.
we got you, girl.
I'm not going to necessarily go out of my way to like, you know, poke the bear, but I don't imagine that I'm going to be sitting at the table sharing porridge either, you know?
Well, if you ever want to be Petty LaBelle, just send whatever school our kid goes to a search for syrup.
On that secret Santa game we posted, I got her and I said I was going to gift her Tori's book.
That's so funny. Oh my God. That's so funny, dude. Honestly, that would be the ultimate karma. Like it turns into a TV show and now her kid's obsessed.
Her son loves it.
Yeah.
Tori deal on our house 24/7.
Oh, she'd be pissed.
Yeah. She wouldn't be happy. But no, I don't think so. I mean, you know, on the reunion, I think she could have dug into me a little deeper and she didn't. And I think I could have I don't know. I'm not really a fire starter. Like, you know, I feel like this is a bad analogy with what's everything happening with, you know, California. So I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm not necessarily going to poke the bear. So I think like we have moments where we can exist and just decide we're never going to see eye to eye. Let's just keep it what it is and just leave it where it. I don't want any beef with her because it's not good for my psyche. So.
I mean, and you know, God forbid you have to fucking pick her up and carry her around like a purse again. You know what I mean? So,
well, you know, funny story. I got asked to do All Stars 5 the moment I was pulling into my driveway, getting home from 40.
Wow.
And now that I see that it's a rival season, I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Oh.
Imagine that she would have been. Who else would have been my rival? I don't know.
No, that's what my brain was just like. Who would it have been?
The only other one I could think of would be like maybe Ashley Mitchell, but that's about it. You know,
maybe Ashley.
She's taken.
Or a boy.
I'm so glad you said no because I would hate to see you go home first because of Amanda.
Oh my God. I'd be so mad.
So pissed.
I'd be livid.
No. Dude, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just great that it didn't happen. You know?
Yeah, no.
It is.
Look, I'm really stoked that you're taking priority for you, taking time for you, explore what the world out there has for you. Yeah. And, you know, that wraps up everything. I know we're a little bit over, but I want to give you the floor for people to check out your socials, whatever you're working on, it's all you.
Oh, thank you. I feel like we talked about so many of the things that I care to talk about within this entire podcast. But, you know, as Rick mentioned, like I do have my kids book and I have the Soul Spill and the cat fundraiser right now. And honestly, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I'm always posting or working on something. I just am really grateful to be here with you guys. Like, I'm so proud of the growth you guys have had as a podcast and like honored to know that I was one of the first challengers that was ever on it with you guys. So thanks for having me back. Thanks for always having my back out there. I know, like, you know, you ride for me hard and I really, really appreciate you guys a lot. And let me know where you want me to have the next meetup.
Heck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Definitely.
Well, Tori, thank you so much for making the time. We know you're so busy with everything you got going on. We really do appreciate it. And, you know, next time we talk, hopefully you've got another championship under your belt too.
Hey.
Fuck yeah.
Hopefully we talk before that. But yeah.
I still have so many more questions that we didn't get to. So we would be here for days.
Yeah. We'll have to check back in later this year and let you go off about everything, all the awesome stuff you're working on now. So
perfect. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you,
Bye.
Tori. For everyone here at the Challenge Fandom Podcast, for myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Karina Hayes, Alexis Tex Rawson, and Katie Bad Blood Pahura. Big shout out to Tori motherfucking Deal coming on.
Fuck yeah, Tori.
Spending 90 minutes and more with us, answering all of our stupid fucking questions. We appreciate you. You're the real GOAT here. Thank y'all. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.